My name is John Totterud. My mission is to make people financially independent, and I do that through multifamily real estate. I want to tell you about how I got started. 15 years ago, I don't think circumstances today are any different. The reasons I got in and the ways that I got in are definitely applicable today as they were back then. A lot of things are not necessarily the same. A lot of things that I could do back in my earlier days that I don't recommend people doing today. One example is I took a hitchhiking trip when I was 19 years old across the country. I started from the East Coast with a friend, came all the way out to almost the West Coast, toured around a little, saw a lot of things, met a whole bunch of interesting people. It was like the trip of a lifetime. At 19 years old, I was so thrilled I was able to make it. Sticking our thumbs up on roads, highways, getting rides from strange people. I don't recommend it today. You definitely can't do it. It was not exactly legal then. It's definitely not legal today. Those are things you can't do, but the way that I got into real estate, you still can do. I had a W-2 job and I was interested in real estate, actually interested before the 2008 crisis, and was looking around with friends at properties and kicking tires, and we never put in offers. We did some financial analysis and we looked around at a lot of local properties, and for various reasons, we never bought anything. We never put in an offer. We just didn't get to that stage because the partnership wasn't right, or the property wasn't right, or maybe a little uneasy about the market. And then the 2008 crisis came, and none of us were in real estate. Didn't have anything. Extremely fortunate, but it was just good luck. It wasn't like I had some grand vision and that I knew what was coming. It was just that we weren't there. 2009 rolled around. Things were still pretty bad. A lot of owners had fallen victim to this subprime mortgage crisis, and they had to turn their properties back to banks. They had to turn them back in. They couldn't make the mortgage payment. The renters had stopped paying. They weren't getting any income, and the banks had all these properties. Banks did not even have employees who could take care of all these properties and process them. It was just super backlogged. If you were part of that process, if you kind of watched what was going on, people buying single family homes got the REOs, the real estate owned properties, from banks and got good deals. The banks also started taking back multifamily properties, and they turned them back to the market as short sales, is what they called them. Probably still do today, but there aren't nearly as many on the market. I took advantage of that. I found short sales and found a 3-unit property down the road, about a half an hour down the road from me, in a nice area that I knew was growing and pretty stable and not run down. It wasn't a bad area, but it was definitely C-class property. And I bought a 3-unit. I took some money out of my own home and put a down payment on it. I did not do it with a partner. I did not know much about it. I did the best analysis that I could. I have a good financial and technical background, and I know how to look into things and study them and understand them and research things like other properties on the market and the market itself. But I didn't have a lot of experience in underwriting spreadsheets or adding value to a property. It just wasn't something that I was familiar with. I figured I'm going to get into this and I'm going to learn it. And that's the first thing that you can still do today. You can really jump into this if you've got the ambition and motivation and some level of means to get started. You don't even have to put in 25 or 30% down on a property. You can find other ways to do it. I'm not going to get into all that right now, but there are ways you can get into it where you don't have to know the market and study it and just be a complete expert in it. If you are, you're better off, but getting there means you're delaying getting started. And that's what I recommend against. And so what I did, got into my property, closed the deal, drove over to the property, and started knocking on doors. It was a fully occupied property, as I understood it, but it really wasn't. Knocked on the first door, unit completely empty. I had keys, and I looked in, saw that there was no furniture in there. I went inside, walked around, not in bad shape, but it was just empty. It's like, okay, this is not what I expected. Went to the second unit. There was a family living there, very nice family. Got to know them. Went to the third unit. There was a guy living there, and he started telling me the problems, including water leaks inside the under the sink and everything. And he said, "Oh yeah, I'm going to sue the owner." And I'm like, "Well, wait a minute. I'm the owner." And he said, "Well, I didn't mean you. I meant the other owner." And I said, "Well, okay, we could talk through this and let's see what's going on." And so we looked at the problem, and then it's a challenge of, okay, how do I fix this water leak? Do I even find it? Can I fix it? Is it within my skill set? And all that. But you look at these things and you figure them out. Can I do it, or do I have to get a skilled professional to do it? Water leaks, you have to fix them. You have to fix them right away. They are the bane of your existence. If you don't fix a water leak, it has the power to do so much more damage to a property. At your home or at an investment, wherever, you got to fix a water leak. And so there was a no-brainer. Just had I don't remember even how I fixed it. It was probably myself, got new plumbing parts for whatever was on this under the sink, because that's what I did at the beginning, is I started fixing these things. I fixed more problems, but then it's like, okay, this guy's going to move out, plus I've got another empty unit. How do I find renters? How do I fix them up? I was taking my tools down and doing the repairs, making these units ready, getting the carpets cleaned, and all that. I could handle that part of it, but I didn't have any leases. I didn't know how to advertise. Called up my broker and said, "What do you do?" And she says, "Well, there's always Craigslist." And I said, "Okay, that's what I'll do." And so I put ads out on Craigslist, found people, and interviewed them, met them at coffee shops, and found tenants for these empty units, and agreed on prices. I found different draft leases, and I read up on the laws and the regulations a little. And that's something you also have to do, is if you're doing this yourself, you have to know your laws, and they're different by state. They're really different by city, and you have to take the time to learn that. It's not complicated, and it's your notification rules, how much time you give them if you need them to move out, eviction rules, what are the notices you give, how do you deliver them, all that stuff. You got to get to know all that. Take the time to learn those things, which I did, and got a lease together, got people to sign the lease, and tenants moved in, paying the rent until they did it, and then reminding them to pay the rent, and then notifying them you didn't pay the rent. And by the way, too much time has gone by. We can't sustain this anymore. You need to decide to do something. You need to move out. Well, maybe I needed to file an eviction notice or whatever, something like that. Those are all things you need to learn as well. You get used to this. These are not insurmountable problems. Every landlord has had them. They are solvable problems, and you can do them. You don't have to be a mean, tough person and take some hardline stance. You have conversations with people, and when you need to, you find other people to help you, like an attorney or somebody else. You find help. My mindset shifted from me doing the work to me finding somebody to do the work, because it got to be where if I'm going down there to this property 30 minutes away to do these jobs, then it takes me away from other things, whether it's my family or other real estate related things that I think are important. It's an opportunity cost. You need to think about how other people are doing the job. A handyman, general contractor, even identifying a good plumber and electrician. You're going to have electrical problems, and I've had my share of them. You have all kinds of problems. You have maybe overflow problems. You need to learn who the serve pros, the restoration, 911 restoration kind of people who are going to fix big problems for you, clean up after a big problem, and so That's what I was living through those first few weeks and months, and then you get income, and then the income is more than what your expenses are, and then your income is pretty steady. It's an awesome feeling. You've gotten over that hurdle. You've figured out the few initial basic things, and you're developing income off of it. That worked for me. It's not smooth. It's not like you're getting into it and this is just working like clockwork, and it doesn't get to be that way. You do things. You're spending your time. You find other people to do them. You get a call in the middle of the day. You're at your job, and you can't run off to that property, otherwise people at work are going to miss you, and then they're going to say, oh, what's this person up to? And they figure things out. You don't want to jeopardize your job. You need to find other people to do the work, but nevertheless that tenant needs something to help fix the problem. If it's a toilet plugged or a leaking water on the unit, or some other kind of electrical issue, they've got a problem that has to be fixed now. You need to know how to do that. Step away from your desk, call the right person, get them over there. If you've got a maintenance person, a handyman who you rely on, you say, oh, awesome, you do a great job. I'm so glad that I can call you up. And the next time you call them up, lo and behold, well, I'm kind of busy, or I'm out of town and I can't come out right now. I mean, they're not your paid employee. They're not going to drop whatever they're doing and come out right away. You got to figure that part out too. And the answer might be, well, you need 2 or 3 different handyman, and you need to have people who you can call to trust. And maybe you're spending a little more on somebody who's got the skills in that area, a plumber or an electrician who can respond to it, and you're going to pay through the nose, but at least you get the problem fixed. Then you get better income. Couple 2 or 3 years down the line, you're thinking of selling it. That's exactly what I did. I said, wow, I've got better income. I can sell for a higher price than what I paid. I've got appreciation on this property. I know how you value a multifamily property now. I probably didn't when I bought it. I was just kind of getting into it for the learning experience, but I know now. I know about underwriting spreadsheets, and I know how to calculate the value, and this property is more valuable. And so I sold it. I mean, sold it and moved on. I took that equity and bought a bigger property in another area a couple hours away, and it had a full-time property manager on it. And so I was out of that day-to-day responsibility and obligation to respond to every call. Great feeling. That was a huge step for me, and I was so glad that I got through it. I opened up a whole lot of additional new problems, which is the topic for another conversation. But that's how I got started, and you can too. It's really not that complicated. It's all learnable, and it's something that somebody with some ambition and motivation can do. And if you start thinking about all the things, oh, I don't have this, or I don't have that, or I don't know enough about it, or I've not taken enough classes, then you need to get over that, because you do. There's people from virtually every single profession who have stepped into real estate and found transferable skills, found things that they can do, and you can get good at it. Take on a partner. Find somebody you can call them as a mentor. Reach out to me. I'm happy to help. You have some questions, I'm happy to help if I can. I don't sell coaching or teaching services, and yes, my time is limited, but I'm happy to help where I can. Hopefully this is helpful for you, and I hope to hear from you and make contact, and stay tuned, and we'll keep doing this and provide you hopefully more useful information.